The phone vibrated once on the kitchen counter. Not a call, a message. She didn't reach for it. That was the first fracture. My wife had always been precise with her phone. Quick glances, instinctive swipes, muscle memory honed by years of nothing to hide. Tonight, she let it buzz itself into silence while she stared at the sink like it had just accused her of something. I watched from the doorway. The house was quiet in the way only late nights with sleeping children can be. Fragile, sacred. Every sound felt like trespassing. The screen lit again, a name I didn't recognize. No photo, just initials. My pulse didn't spike, it flattened. Because fear is loud, certainty is quiet. She finally picked it up, read the message, and did something I'd never seen before. She deleted it. No reply, no hesitation, just erase. She looked up then and smiled at me, a practiced thing, careful, soft. "Everything okay?" she asked. I nodded. In my head, something closed, like a door locking from the inside. I went to check on the kids. I stood in the hallway longer than necessary, listening to their breathing, memorizing it. The world had shifted, and they didn't know. That was my job now, to keep it that way. When I came back, she was pouring herself a glass of water with shaking hands. The phone lay face down. I didn't ask who was texting. I already knew the question would change everything. Infidelity doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It leaks in small inconsistencies, missed glances, over-explained errands. She became careful with her affection, measured, as if love were something that needed rationing. She started showering later, laughing at messages she wouldn't share, saying names that didn't belong to anyone we knew. I told myself it was stress, work, life. Men like me are trained to rationalize. It's how we survive. But then I found the email. Not explicit, not incriminating in the obvious ways. Just logistics, time, location, a familiarity that didn't belong to colleagues. And buried in a forwarded thread, a sentence that made my hands go cold. He knows about the kids. He says he can make things difficult if I don't cooperate. I read it twice, 3 times. My mind didn't race, it sharpened. This wasn't just betrayal, this was exposure. Someone outside our home knew my children's names, their school, their routine, and my wife was negotiating with him. I didn't confront her, I didn't raise my voice. I kissed her goodnight and lay awake staring at the ceiling, mapping the shape of what she'd done. Love can survive infidelity. It does not survive endangerment. I became meticulous. I copied phone records, screenshotted backups, logged timestamps. I learned the rhythm of her lies, not by listening to what she said, but by noting when she said too much. I followed patterns, not people. The man wasn't a lover in the romantic sense. He was leverage. A former client of hers, recently fired, bitter, connected. He'd discovered an old financial irregularity she'd buried years ago, something survivable, something embarrassing, and he'd turned it into a weapon, against her, against us, against my children. She thought compliance would contain it, thought silence was protection, thought she could manage the risk by sacrificing pieces of herself I wouldn't notice. That miscalculation was almost admirable. I installed nothing, tracked nothing illegal. I didn't need to. People who threaten families are rarely subtle. They leave trails of arrogance behind them, emails, messages, recorded voicemails saved for intimidation. And then there was the meeting, a hotel, a keycard timestamp. I sat in my car across the street, not watching the door, but watching my own hands. They were steady. That told me everything. I waited until Sunday night. The kids were asleep, the house dim. I placed a folder on the table between us. She didn't touch it. She already knew. "Open it," I said. My voice surprised her. Not angry, not loud. Finished. She flipped through the pages, records, screenshots, transcripts. Her breathing collapsed inward, like something folding under pressure. "You don't understand," she whispered. "I understand perfectly," I said. "You traded safety for secrecy." She cried then, not theatrically, broken, hands over her mouth like she could push the truth back inside. "He said he'd expose everything," she said. "He said he knew where the kids—" "I know," I interrupted. "He told me too." Her head snapped up. That was the moment she realized how far behind she was. I didn't touch her. I slid my phone across the table instead. An email thread, forwarded, CC'd, law enforcement, her firm's compliance department, his employer, his wife. Every threat documented, every demand contextualized. I had sent it all 12 hours earlier. "You killed him," she said faintly. "No," I replied. "I removed him." His leverage evaporated in a single afternoon. Reputation burned, access revoked. His threats turned into evidence. He would never come near my children again. She stared at me like I was someone new. "You planned this," she said. "I finished it," I corrected. "You started it." The silence that followed was total. Not rage, not chaos, an ending. She moved out a week later. No screaming, no lawyers yet, just distance. The children are safe. That was the only metric that mattered. Sometimes I replay the moment she realized she'd lost, not just him, but me. Not because I enjoy it, but because it reminds me of the cost of hesitation. Love is not blind, it is selective. And when someone threatens what you're sworn to protect, you don't need violence to end them. You just need the truth, applied without mercy. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't spill blood. I simply made sure she understood. Some betrayals don't end marriages. They end illusions. And I walked away with my eyes open.